Hello, good evening, and welcome to our first ever, hopefully only ever, virtual back to school night. My name is Miss Vargas, but your students, your son or daughter knows me as Profe, so that's what I have them call me in class. And please allow me to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about our class. So first and foremost, a little bit about me as the teacher. My name is Adriana Vargas. I have been a teacher here at Rancho for 11 years. My mother was also a Spanish teacher here, so I love it. I love this school. I live and breathe Rancho Verde, black and red. And while I was not an actual student here, I did go to Vista Verde Middle School and El Potrero Elementary. So I'm also a product of our amazing Val Verde Unified School District. So welcome again. My family is from Venezuela and Nicaragua. So I grew up speaking both English and Spanish. In fact, Spanish was my first language. And then in school, I picked up English. And then I became better at English. And when I went to college at UCR, I decided to major in Spanish and psychology. And I lived in Spain for 2 years. I lived in Argentina for one summer. So I very much went back to learn Spanish and get better at it. And I absolutely adore it. I adore the culture, the language, what language does to unify people. And I hope that if your student doesn't learn anything else, I hope that they learn to appreciate who they are, their own culture, and that in some future they might be curious enough to learn another language, even if it's not Spanish, another language, another culture, to investigate other countries, to not be scared of travel, because I truly think that in the world that we're living in, I think that that is the best way to bring about peace and understanding. So with that, our Spanish 1 class takes place during zero period. This class is very, very special to me because this is the only class I teach all day. So after zero period, my job here on campus is to be instructional coach. So my job here on campus is to support teachers. I'm walking in and out of classrooms, helping teachers prep lessons, be the best version of themselves that they can be. And so after zero period, your students are the only students I really get to interact with. So they are very, very special to me. And I hope that they are present every day. We have about 19 students in the class, but regularly only about 8 show up. And it's always the same 8, more or less. So please talk to your son or daughter. They need to wake up on time. They need to make it. And here we go. So our class, this is our syllabus. Right here you have my email address, and I hope you can see that. So communication is our number 1 goal. This is a little different than the way I've taught Spanish in the past, and perhaps if you have any older children that have passed through a language class here at Rancho Verde High School, we are really shifting from focusing on grammar and grammar tests and spelling and vocabulary to hopefully, truly being able to communicate, to speak and understand in the language. That's our number 1 priority. So if you spell things a little wrong, that's okay. If you don't conjugate perfectly, that's okay. What we want to see is genuine understanding and an attempt, because this is Spanish 1, an attempt to communicate. So it's our number 1 goal, and the main vehicle to deliver instruction will be a strategy called TPRS, Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling. So your students will be engaged every day in the target language, which in this case is Spanish. So we will be speaking and listening and asking and responding to questions all in Spanish in small, comprehensible chunks. So I won't just go, hey, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está? Blah, 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 all in Spanish. It'll be words that they know, and it'll be lots of repetition and what we call circling around a main statement. And from that statement, I'll ask them a series of yes questions, no questions, either or questions, all with the hopes that the more that they hear it and the more that, and they respond, it's a choral response. There is no sleeping in class. Everyone is listening and speaking, and everyone is responding. So that is the crux of our class. That is the main vehicle by which we will deliver communication as our number one priority. As far as what they'll learn, you have the breakdown right here. Semester 1, right now we're just doing, this is Spanish 1 in a second language. So right now we're doing the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, and that will quickly progress into hellos and goodbyes and basic information about ourselves in Spanish, like cuántos años tienes, how old you are, cuándo es tu cumpleaños, when is your birthday, and things like that. Then we'll go into nationalities, telling time and telling places, like where you are. Are you in the library? Are you at home? Are you at school? And then expressing likes and dislikes. So that'll be semester 1. Semester 2, we will talk about family members and how we're related to each other, describing people and adjectives, professions, jobs, hobbies and sports, and finally, future plans. We'll still be in the present tense, but how to say things like, I will go to the park. I will pass this class. I will get an A. Things like that. If you would like to know more about where we are getting our standards and our can-do statements, I can introduce myself. I can describe people and things around me. All of those can-do statements are found here. We are following California State World Language Standards, which are all about communication. The way that students can engage in the class. So I believe that learning a language requires engagement and focused practice. Students will enter into experiences. This is an experience. I hope that this is their favorite class that they have all day via different platforms. So I have here, this is all linked. If you click on any one of these links, you will see Netflix and a list of Netflix shows that you might like to watch with your son or daughter. Reading epic books. You can listen to and read books in Spanish. And I warn you, they're very elementary. It's very preschool type of books, but it's in Spanish, another language. Duolingo, if you don't have the app on your phone, make sure you download Duolingo, and you each can do your little practices every day for 5 minutes. We have the link to our textbook. The textbook is called Descubre, but your son or daughter probably knows it best as VHL. So VHL is the online textbook where they are able to complete activities. And while that's not the focus of our class, they will have some homework assignments and some activities to complete on VHL. And then finally, other resources. They have on this site, they will have resources where they can click on and go to flashcards, conjugation practice, subject pronouns, present tense, and things like that. So all of these are clickable links where they can go and get some extra help. So learn, engage, grow. As far as grading, so how do we measure growth and how do we measure mastery of standards? I believe that a grade is what you know and what you can do. It is not a measure of behavior. It is not a measure of compliance. And therefore, an A, B, C, D, or F grade in my class will not be a measure of how many assignments they did or didn't do, or missing assignments or completing assignments. I'm not grading behavior. I'm grading whether or not your son or daughter can communicate in Spanish. So the things that will actually go in the grade book will mostly be presentations and assessments, quizzes and tests, whether or not they can perform in Spanish. Can they listen to a conversation and understand what was said? Can they present on a certain topic? Can they engage in the conversation? Can they answer questions or ask questions about a prompt? And all of this we will practice, but the things that actually go in the grade book, anything that actually goes in the grade book will be things that prove whether or not there is mastery of a learning target, not compliance on just did they turn it in or not. So with this, if a student needs to take a retake on a test, they can do that as many times as they like, but they must click here, and all of these forms that are in our Google Classroom, they must first fill out the retake form. And once they take the retake form, which will let me know how serious they are about retaking a quiz or taking a quiz that they missed because they were absent, they have to fill this out first. Same thing goes with our late work form. If there's any late work that is completed after the due date, they need to let me know that they completed the late work, and this is how they do that, but with our late work form. Since this is a language course, you will see that in our gradebook, the categories for grading are divided by three main dimensions or three main categories: interpretive skills, interpersonal skills, and presentational skills. So again, how well the student can interpret, meaning read and understand, how well the student can engage in interpersonal, so between two people, conversation, respond and ask questions, going back and forth, and presentational, how well the student can take a topic that we've been discussing, whether it's likes, dislikes, sports, hobbies, and present on a topic in the target language in Spanish. Everything will be graded on a 4-point scale, 1, 2, 3, or 4, based on a rubric. If you'd like to know more about our rubric, there's a clickable link there that you can look more. And just so you know, 99% of the grade is based on assessment, on tests and quizzes and presentations on either interpretive, interpersonal, or presentational skills. That 1% of the grade will be the busy work in class. So truly, if the student wants to pass, they must perform. They must show mastery of the target language. Finally, to connect, because of COVID and because it's a zero period, I do expect lots of absences. Even on my own end, I will be absent frequently due to leadership meetings because I am on the leadership team at our site. And my own son, who is a kindergartner now, I was out the other day because he was sick. So I'm a parent. I'm on the part of the leadership team. So whether it's an absence on my end or an absence on your son or daughter's end, the show must go on. So everything will be posted on Google Classroom, and the students, even if they're not present in person, are still expected to complete the assignments and take the tests posted. So not being in class in person is not an excuse to not have the work completed. You as a parent can keep track of assignments by joining our Google Classroom. You can also join our Remind, where reminders literally show up on your phone. I will text and say, hey, don't forget, tomorrow we have a test, or hey, I'm sorry, tomorrow I won't be in class, but please look at Google Classroom for your assignments. So join our Google Classroom, join our Remind, and that is how you will know everything that's going on in class. You can reach me via my email address, avargas@valverde.edu. And here on our Google Classroom, you will see everything that you need to know about our class. Here on the front, you have the announcements. And on the classwork side, I have a weekly agenda where they can see what the week's assignments are. So with that, muchas gracias. I am very happy to be serving you and your family. I hope that this becomes a family event to learn Spanish. Y si en casa ya hablan español, por favor, obliga a su hijo o su hija que les hable en español, que les responda en español, que escuchen música en español, que vean películas en español con los subtítulos, que le pongan ganas a aprender. Así que muchas gracias. Adiós.